Hello students, welcome to my channel Learning History Made Easy. In today's video, I will be explaining about the Vijayanagara Empire. Before going into the video, if anyone is seeing the channel for the first time or if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and share it with your friends, and also click the bell button to receive notifications whenever I upload new videos. So without wasting time, let us get into the video. So in today's video, we will be seeing about the Vijayanagara Empire. The Vijayanagara Empire. Okay. So the Vijayanagara Empire establishment was one of the greatest events in the history of India. So the establishment of this empire is considered as one of the greatest events in the history of India. The empire ruled almost the whole of southern part of India. So the Vijayanagara Empire ruled almost the whole of southern part of India. So that much was the importance of Vijayanagara Empire. It was established, or it was founded in 1336 century era. The Vijayanagara Empire was founded in 1336 century era, and it safeguarded the religion and culture of South India. So as I told, it ruled almost whole of South India, and that is why it safeguarded and it encouraged and developed the religion as well as culture of South India. So the Vijayanagara Empire has a great role in the development of the religion and culture of South India. Hampi was a capital of Vijayanagara Empire. Hampi, which is also called as Vijayanagara, is the capital of Vijayanagara Empire. Is the capital of Vijayanagara Empire. The term Hampi, this name Hampi, is derived from goddess Pampambika. So the name Hampi is derived from the name of goddess Pampambika. From there you get the name Hampi. So the Vijayanagara Empire was one of the greatest empire or important empire in South India. It ruled almost the whole part of southern part of India, and it was founded in 1336 century era. The empire safeguarded the religion and culture of South India. The capital of Vijayanagara Empire was Hampi, also called as Vijayanagara. The name Hampi is derived from the name of goddess Pampambika. So that was the introduction main points about Vijayanagara Empire. Let us see a few more points. Presently Hampi, so as we told, Hampi is the capital, and presently Hampi is in Hoysala Taluk in Bellary district. Hoysala Taluk of Bellary district. And the royal deity of the empire, we already know that the name Hampi we got from the goddess Pampambika, and the royal deity of Vijayanagara Empire was Sri Virupaksha. So Sri Virupaksha was the royal deity of Vijayanagara Empire, and the royal emblem of Vijayanagara Empire, the royal emblem was Varaha. Varaha was their royal emblem. So Hampi is currently situated in Hoysala Taluk of Bellary district. The royal deity of Vijayanagara Empire was Sri Virupaksha, and the royal emblem was Varaha. So this was the main details about Vijayanagara Empire. Now let us move on to the foundation and origin of Vijayanagara Empire. Who founded the empire, or how did it originate? So we will see the foundation and origin of Vijayanagara Empire. So the Vijayanagara Empire was founded by the Sangama brothers. So it is said that the Vijayanagara Empire was founded by the Sangama brothers. Their name was Harihara and Bukkaraya. Two brothers, Harihara and Bukkaraya, is said to be the founders of Vijayanagara Empire. But the place of origin of Vijayanagara Empire, the place of origin is a debatable topic, or there is difference of opinion among different scholars regarding their place of origin. So it is said that there are many arguments regarding the place of origin of Vijayanagara Empire. So according to one theory, it is said that, so let us see one or two theories regarding their place of origin. Still there is no unanimous opinion. So according to one theory, Harihara and Bukkaraya, the founders of Vijayanagara Empire, is a sure thing, that is Harihara and Bukkaraya were the founders. The only question is about the place of origin. So according to one theory, Harihara and Bukkaraya were officials under the kingdom, that is officials under the ruler Prataparudra of Warangal. Prataparudra of Warangal. So according to one theory, Harihara and Bukkaraya were officials under the king Prataparudra of Warangal. And later what happened? These two brothers, that is Harihara and Bukkaraya, later they revolted or they fought against the ruler, that is Muhammad bin Tughlaq. They revolted against Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So they were working as officials under Prataparudra of Warangal, and these two brothers revolted against Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and after that they founded the kingdom of Hampi. That is one theory. Okay, so regarding the foundation and origin, the founders of the Vijayanagara Empire was the Sangama brothers, Harihara and Bukkaraya. That is an agreed thing. But the place of origin is a debatable question, as there are different arguments. The scholars have different arguments regarding the place of origin. According to one theory, Harihara and Bukkaraya were officials under Prataparudra of Warangal. These two brothers revolted against Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and what happened was, after revolting against Muhammad bin Tughlaq, they founded the kingdom of Hampi. That is one theory. Now let us see one more theory regarding the place of origin. According to another theory, so many theories are there, we are just seeing one or two theories. According to another theory, both Harihara and Bukkaraya were officials at Hampi region. They were here also. It is said that they were officials, but it is said that they were officials at Hampi region, the Hampi area, under Hoysala ruler Veeraballala III. Okay, Veeraballala III, when he was the ruler, that is Veeraballala III, he was the Hoysala ruler. And that time, when Veeraballala III was the Hoysala ruler, Harihara and Bukkaraya were officials at Hampi region. Okay, that is the next theory. It was in this situation that they founded the Vijayanagara Empire. But there is no clarity regarding the place of origin. It is still a debatable question. So these two theories, at least for your understanding. So the second theory said that Harihara and Bukkaraya were officials at Hampi region under Hoysala ruler Veeraballala III. That is the second theory regarding the origin of Vijayanagara, that is place of origin of Vijayanagara Empire. Now let us just see the points which we have studied till now. The Vijayanagara Empire. The establishment of Vijayanagara Empire was one of the greatest events in the history of India. The empire ruled almost the whole of southern part of India. It was founded in 1336 century era. Vijayanagara Empire safeguarded the religion and culture of South India. Hampi, also called as Vijayanagara, was the capital of the empire. The term Hampi is derived from goddess Pampambika. Presently, Hampi is in Hospet Taluk of Bellary district, and Sri Virupaksha was a royal deity of the empire, and Varaha was a royal emblem. Now regarding the foundation and origin, the Sangama brothers Harihara and Bukkaraya founded the Vijayanagara Empire. There are various arguments among the scholars about the place of origin. According to one theory, Harihara and Bukkaraya were the officials under Prataparudra of Warangal. These two brothers revolted against Muhammad bin Tughlaq and founded the kingdom of Hampi. According to another theory, Harihara and Bukkaraya were officials at Hampi region under Hoysala ruler Veeraballala III. Thus, there is no clarity regarding the origin of Vijayanagara Empire. So now let us move on to the next topic, that is political history. Political history of Vijayanagara Empire. So the Vijayanagara Empire was ruled by 4 successive dynasties. So the rule of Vijayanagara Empire was done by 4 successive dynasties. So which were the 4 successive dynasties? The first dynasty will be naturally the founders dynasty, that is Sangama Dynasty. We have already studied that Harihara and Bukkaraya were Sangama brothers. So the first dynasty is Sangama Dynasty. The time period of the dynasty is 1336 to 1485 century era. So the Vijayanagara Empire was ruled by 4 successive dynasties. The first dynasty, Sangama Dynasty, the time period is 1336 to 1485 century era. Now the second dynasty is called as the Saluva Dynasty. After Sangama Dynasty, second dynasty is the Saluva Dynasty, and the time period of the dynasty is 1485 to 1505 century era. Second dynasty, Saluva Dynasty, 1485 to 1505 century era. Now the third dynasty is called as Tuluva Dynasty. The third dynasty is Tuluva Dynasty. Time period is 1505 to 1570 century era. Tuluva Dynasty from 1505 to 1570 century era. And the last dynasty is Aravidu Dynasty. Last dynasty is Aravidu Dynasty, and that Aravidu Dynasty's time period 1571 to 1646 century era. Aravidu Dynasty 1571 to 1646 century era. So these were the 4 successive dynasties which ruled Vijayanagara Empire. So the Vijayanagara Empire ruled by 4 successive dynasties: Sangama Dynasty, Saluva Dynasty, Tuluva Dynasty and Aravidu Dynasty. So these were the 4 different dynasties. Now let us move on to the most important personality of Vijayanagara Empire, that is Krishnadevaraya. Krishnadevaraya, and Krishnadevaraya's time period is from 1509 to 1529 century era. So the most important ruler of Vijayanagara Empire, that is 1509 to 1529 century era. He was one of the greatest emperors of South India. So Krishnadevaraya is considered as one of the greatest emperors of South India. Greatest emperors of South India. And he was the son of, his parents' name, he was the son of Tuluva Narasanayaka, and mother's name was Nagaladevi. Okay, he was a son of Tuluva Narasanayaka and Nagaladevi. So naturally we understand that he is from Tuluva dynasty. From the time period also we understand Tuluva dynasty was from 1505 to 1570. So Krishnadevaraya belonged to Tuluva dynasty. His parents were Tuluva Narasanayaka and Nagaladevi. His prime minister was Timmarasa. His prime minister's name was Timmarasa, was the prime minister of Krishnadevaraya, and he called his prime minister as Appaji. So the prime minister of Krishnadevaraya was Timmarasa and he was called as Appaji. So Krishnadevaraya was the greatest emperor of South India. His parents were Tuluva Narasanayaka and Nagaladevi. His prime minister was Timmarasa, whom he called as Appaji. Now we are going to see in details about the achievements of Krishnadevaraya. So one by one we will see the military achievements of Krishnadevaraya. Military achievements. So considering the military achievements of Krishnadevaraya, first we are going to learn about the War of 1510 century era. The War of 1510 century era. Now, what was the background of the war? Sultan Yusuf Adil Shah of Bijapur. The first person in this war we have to see is Sultan Yusuf Adil Shah. He is from Bijapur. And another person, Sultan Muhammad Shah of Bidar. Sultan Muhammad Shah of Bidar. Both of them together attacked Vijayanagara Empire. So that is the situation. Okay, both of them attacked Vijayanagara, and this happened in 1510 century era. So the background of the war of 1510, Sultan Yusuf Adil Shah of Bijapur and Sultan Muhammad Shah of Bidar both attacked Vijayanagara in 1510. So what Krishnadevaraya did? Krishnadevaraya repulsed them. So he repulsed them, that is he sent them back, that is he was somehow successful in driving them back by force. Krishnadevaraya had power and he repulsed them, that is he made them go away, and that too with force. He fought against them and he made them run away. And in this fight, the fight between these group, Yusuf Adil Shah died. Okay, Yusuf Adil Shah, that is the Bijapur Sultan, he died in this fight. And after that, Krishnadevaraya, okay, so Krishnadevaraya won the fight and he occupied the fort of Raichur. The fort of Raichur was taken over by Krishnadevaraya, and the fort of Raichur, along with the fort of Raichur, he took the Krishna Tungabhadra Doab region also. Krishna Tungabhadra Doab region. Doab region means the fertile area between the two rivers is the Doab region. So he occupied this area. So this was the first success of Krishnadevaraya. We can say the first military achievement of Krishnadevaraya. So once more let us see the first achievement of Krishnadevaraya. The first military achievement is the War of 1510. What happened in War of 1510? Sultan Yusuf Adil Shah of Bijapur and Sultan Muhammad Shah of Bidar attacked Vijayanagara Empire in 1510 century era. Krishnadevaraya repulsed them, that is he fought against them and made them go away. In that fight, Yusuf Adil Shah died. After that, Krishnadevaraya occupied the fort of Raichur and also he took the Krishna Tungabhadra Doab area. So that was the first military achievement. Now let us see the next military achievement of Krishnadevaraya. The next one is called as the Siege of Ummaturu. The Siege of Ummaturu. The Siege of Ummaturu happened in 1513 century era, 1513 century era. That is the Siege of Ummaturu. See, first of all, we have to understand what is a siege. See, siege is a military operation when an enemy force surround a town or building and make them surrender. That is, it is just, we can say that it is military operation when the enemies, they surround a building. If you are going to attack one place, the military will surround the place and then make them surrender, okay, and then make the enemies surrender. This is how siege is happening. It is basically a way of conquering a place, military operation. They will surround the place and make the enemies surrender. So in Ummaturu, what happened, we will see. So I hope you understood the meaning of the word siege, okay. So in siege of Ummaturu, Ganga Raja was the Nayaka of Ummaturu. So the ruler of Ummaturu was Ganga Raja. He was the Nayaka of Ummaturu. So what he did, he revolted against Vijayanagara. Ganga Raja, he revolted against the Vijayanagara Empire. Vijayanagara Empire. So when he revolted against Vijayanagara Empire, Krishnadevaraya, what he did, he laid siege on the Ummaturu fort. Krishnadevaraya laid siege on Ummaturu fort. So there was a famous fort called as Ummaturu fort, and Krishnadevaraya, that is here, Krishnadevaraya, he laid siege on Ummaturu fort. That means he surrounded the Ummaturu fort with his army and made the enemies surrender. That is, if it is a fort, it is understood how the siege is laid. That is, they surrounded the fort and they made the enemies surrender. And this rebellion or this fight of Krishnadevaraya against Ganga Raja was subdued. That is, it was finally controlled. The fight was finally controlled. The fight was finally controlled, and the main two forts, that is, one is fort of Shivanasamudra, and another one, the fort of Srirangapatana, both were captured by Krishnadevaraya. So Krishnadevaraya again became successful here also. That is, he finally captured the fort of Shivanasamudra and also he captured the fort of Srirangapatana. So siege of Ummaturu, siege is a military operation when they surround the place and make the enemies surrender. Ganga Raja was the Nayaka of Ummaturu. He revolted against Vijayanagara Empire. So Krishnadevaraya, what he did, he surrounded the Ummaturu fort with his army and made them surrender. And the fight was finally controlled, and Krishnadevaraya conquered the fort of Shivanasamudra and the fort of Srirangapatana. So let us see the points which we have studied once more. The political history. The Vijayanagara Empire was ruled by 4 successive dynasties. Sangama Dynasty from 1336 to 1485 century era. Saluva Dynasty 1485 to 1505 century era. Tuluva Dynasty 1505 to 1570 century era. And the Aravidu Dynasty 1571 to 1646 century era. Now let us see about Krishnadevaraya 1509 to 1529 century era. He was one of the greatest emperors of South India. He was the son of Tuluva Narasanayaka and Nagaladevi. Timmarasa was his prime minister, whom he called Appaji. Regarding his military achievements, the war of 1510 century era. Sultan Yusuf Adil Shah of Bijapur and Sultan Muhammad Shah of Bidar attacked Vijayanagara in 1510 century era. Krishnadevaraya repulsed them. Yusuf Adil Shah lost his life. Krishnadevaraya occupied the fort of Raichur along with Krishna Tungabhadra Doab. The second military achievement, siege of Ummaturu, 1513 century era. Gangaraja, the Nayaka of Ummatturu, revolted against Vijayanagara. Krishnadevaraya laid siege to the Ummatturu fort. The rebellion was subdued and the forts of Shivanasamudra and Srirangapatana were captured. So this was the second military achievement of Krishnadevaraya. So I hope you have understood all these points regarding his military achievements. Krishnadevaraya's military achievements, more points are there. Those points I will continue in the next video, otherwise this video will become very long. So this you can consider as military achievement of Krishnadevaraya part 1, and the next video will be military achievement of Krishnadevaraya part 2. So both videos you have to see it one after the another, otherwise continuity will not be there. So I hope you have understood all the points very clearly. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comment section, and please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Your likes and comments will be of a great encouragement for me to make more and more videos. I hope to see you all soon in the next video. Thank you for watching.